Cougar here, and Dew, and today we're going to show you how to make friendship bracelets 3 different ways. The first way we're going to show you is how to make a braided bracelet. Then we have our pony beads. And then finally, this one is a macrame bracelet. Let's get started. One of the ways that you can make a bracelet is by doing a simple braid. So I have some yarn, I have a couple different colors of pink, and I have some gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure around my wrist, and then I'm going to double that just so I have enough when I'm braiding. And just a quick cut, and I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm going to use this to measure my other 2. And I'm going to measure here, and I'm going to pull it out to measure and cut them both, and I'm going to set those aside. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn. I have 3 different colors. You're going to fold it in half, and I'm going to make a loop at the top, and then I'm going to make an overhand knot, which I'm just going to bring it around the other string, through the other loop at the top, pull all 3 of them through. Oops, that got caught in there. So that I have a nice loop at the top that eventually I can tie my string through, my bottom string. So I have some just plain old Scotch tape, and I'm going to tape this down to the table. Hopefully it holds, because then it's easier for me to braid. I'm going to put my gray together, I'm going to put my pink together, and I'm going to put my burgundy together. So to braid, and this is going to be backwards for you, but it'll be, just flip it around. So you have your 3 pieces, and you start by, you can take the far right piece and overlap it, and then you take your left piece and go across into the middle. So you're always bringing your pieces into the middle. And I come back to my right and my left and bring the gray in. I am going to measure real quick to see how it fits. So I'm just going to bring it over, and I need to braid just a little bit more. I'm going to bring it down to the ends, and hopefully I guessed right when I doubled this over. Okay, so I am now down to the very end of my yarn. And I am going to take my yarn, and I'm just going to do another overhand knot, and I'm going to keep all of those 6 strings together, bring them through that loop, and then I'm going to pull that knot down as close as I can to the edge. And then you can pick up your bracelet. And when you put it around, that loop at the top can fit right over the top of the knot at the bottom. And there you have a bracelet. So the next bracelet we're going to make is, we're going to use pony beads, and these are just pony beads we had laying around, and some string, and you're going to also need some tape again. So I am going to take my string, and again I'm going to wrap it around my wrist, and I'm going to leave a little bit extra, and then I'm going to double that so that I have enough. Set my string aside. And I'm going to match up the ends and make a loop at the top so I have a knot, and then go through. Okay, and there's my knot. And then I'm going to tape this to the table. Okay, and I am using string, not yarn, because this string is easier to go through the pony beads. And I'm just going to put a small handful of pony beads out. So you're going to take your pony bead, and you're going to take your string, either side you want to start on, and you're going to put your string through the pony bead and kind of pull it up to the top. And then take the other string, and you're going to go into the pony bead from the other direction. And I'm just going to put it through the pony bead. So it'll look like that, and then I pull both ends so my pony bead goes up. And then I'm going to take another pony bead and I'm going to loop my string through it, and then take my other side and go through the opposite direction. And then again, pull my string up. And you're just going to continue that way until you get down towards the end on how long you want your bracelet. Okay, so then when you get to the end, you're just going to tie 2 knots in it, and I'm doing a square knot. So my first one is a regular one. I just go right over left, and then the next knot I do left over right with my string. So that way you have some string at the end. And then when you put it on your wrist, which mine might not be, nope, mine's not quite long enough, but you would tie your ends, your string just loops through, and then you can tie it onto your wrist. So our last bracelet that we're going to make is out of yarn, and you're going to need 2 pieces of yarn. So I have my first one, which is about, if I doubled it over, it's just a little bit bigger than my wrist. So I have that one folded in half. And then you need another piece of yarn that is a lot longer. So you can see, here's where this one ends, and this is how much longer it is. So it's maybe 1, 2, maybe about triple. So you're going to match up the loops at the top again, and you're going to make a knot, overhand knot, and we're going to tie that down and get it nice and tight. And then I am going to tape this down again, because it'll make it easier to do. So my gray pieces, which are my really, really long pieces, are going to be my outside, and this is my middle. And what you're going to do is with your pieces, you are going to make, with your yarn, a number 4 over the top of your middle string with your outside string. So right there. And then you're going to take the other piece and you're going to bring it under, or you're going to bring it over your number 4, under the middle string, and under through the loop that you have for your 4. And be really careful to hold them as you're doing that. And then you're going to pull your string up. Now you have to decide if you want it to be straight or if you want it to be spiraled. If you want it to be spiraled, you only do your number 4s on one side. If you want it to be straight, you're going to alternate between the sides that you make your 4. So I want mine to be straight. So I'm going to make my 4 on this side, and I'm going to go over the top of the 4 string, underneath the middle, and up through the loop on the 4. And then I'm going to hold my middle string and I'm going to pull that tight. And then I'm just going to continue that going from one side to the next. We have worked on this and now we're back to finish the bracelet off. So as you get down near the end, we're just going to tie a couple more knots here. And if you did what I did, sometimes I forgot which side I was on. So I do have a little bit of twists and turns in there and then some straight pieces, and that is all okay. It just makes it unique for you. And if you want to share it with a friend, then it is a very special bracelet for your friend. So as you get down to the end, and I'm going to do one more, well actually that's good. So I'm going to leave it here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a big knot down at the bottom, and I'm going to loop up a little bit so that I can actually fit it through there and get all of the strings through. And then I'm just going to gently kind of work my knot back down past where my bracelet is. And I'm just going to tie a knot right there. And then I'm going to cut these other strings to match those first two. And then that way, when you go to put it on, your knot will fit through up at the top. And you do have the option, if you want to keep it on permanently, instead of tying a knot at the end, you can just loop the strings through, leave them long enough to tie, and then you can tie them like that instead of doing the knot. So that is our final way to do friendship bracelets.